Somebody say enough is enough.
A fierce voice heard around Minnesota and the world.
We have two different justice systems. One for black people, one for white people, both separate and unequal.
Civil rights attorney Dr. Nekima Levy Armstrong. Her resounding demands for change that echo from megaphones are now written in ink for future generations.
Feels natural,
Yeah.
like a natural extension of the movement. Baby Joy loved living in the big city.
And even before she released her book, J is for Justice, it became a #1 bestseller on Amazon.
How does that feel? What inspired you to expand your work into being a children's author?
It feels amazing to have written a children's book about our experience out on the front lines and to have the book resonate with adults, but especially with children. That's been really empowering to see the extension of the movement go into the classrooms and go into homes.
It's a telling of the fight for justice in Minneapolis, a story that captured the minds of young readers at Josie Johnson Legacy Charter School.
Baby Joy and Mama joined the crowd.
Pages from the perspective of her 5-year-old daughter, who witnessed firsthand the 2020 unrest following the murder of George Floyd.
As the crowd came closer, she heard people shout different words like freedom and justice. I just started reflecting on that experience of being a mom and an activist and bringing my child, out there and thinking about, well, what is that experience like for my daughter? What is that experience like for other children? Do they really understand what is going on when they show up at a protest with their parents? And so through that reflection, I just, in my spirit, I just said, I want to write about this.
Her hope: to educate and start conversations that ignite change to end the cycle of racism in America, just like they did for her when she was their age.
Somebody say that ain't right.
When did you commit your life to fighting for justice?
Honestly, I think when I was 9 years old. I feel that my mission in life is to advocate for the best interests of Black people, particularly low-income Black people who have been historically underserved and who face challenges because of unjust laws and policies.
Do you think that your fight for freedom has taken a toll on your health?
It's very possible that it has, for sure.
A routine eye exam last September led to doctors finding a brain tumor that had been affecting her vision.
I know that when I am in the midst of protesting, demonstrating, I can be like a machine, in terms of the intensity and the consistency and the perseverance. Like my mind just keeps going. I think in my earlier years, I definitely did not rest as much and didn't take as much time out for myself.
She says after a few days of prayer, she scheduled emergency surgery.
I was at the hospital getting prepped for surgery, and I had the brain tumor removed, spent weeks recovering and trying to gain a sense of balance and a sense of myself.
There's not enough research about the cause of her brain tumor, but Nekima believes stress may have played a role.
My regimen is a lot more intense, than the average person. So I'm sure that it took a toll on me. I remember during the George Floyd protests at one point, looking at a picture of myself, and I physically looked exhausted in the picture. And when I saw that, I'm like, I have to get away now and take care of myself.
A slower pace and radical self-care made room for J is for Justice to come to life.
And that pace helped me transition into recovery. But in the midst of that, I had written J is for Justice. And so I remember thinking, this is definitely a part of my legacy. Use your voice to speak out against injustice. I'm a survivor, but also I have more depth in terms of my empathy. I thought I had a heightened level of empathy, but after going through that, my level of empathy is even deeper.
Nekima continues her fight for justice while still prioritizing her health and advocating for others in the movement to do the same.
There's so much power in that, and it gets ignored by this society. But I want people to know that their labor is not in vain. Their work is valuable, and we need to continue to find ways to fight until we get the change we want to see.